Take a listen to this.
Okay.
Because there is a conversation brewing. Maybe it's not a mainstream one yet. I will tell you, I'm not afraid to say this because I want to say this with respect. Bonte and Joe in the morning believe that the next 9 games, and I don't want to speak out of turn, so if either of you are listening, call in and you can express exactly how you mean it. But I've heard both of them say that these next 9 games are going to be huge for Brock. And some of that is obvious. All NFL games are huge.
Right.
But I think what they mean is that they will go a long way in determining the future of Brock Purdy. I wholeheartedly disagree. I believe that you could get Kyle Shanahan in a truth serum dark room and say, who is your starting quarterback for week 1, 2024? He will not hesitate. He will not break. He will not blink. He will tell you, I already know. That man is Brock Purdy. That is a done envelope sealed and in the mailbox, especially because he's going to make $900,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My question to any of you would be, if you think that this is still an audition, who exactly is it that you would look at? What option do the 49ers have? Let's say it doesn't go well. What option for the 49ers makes sense that we can even talk about at quarterback next year? Please don't come at me with Darnold or $35 million a year Kirk Cousins off an Achilles tear. I mean, no way.
Well, how am I supposed to answer when you took both my answers?
Sorry. Well, no. But
Brandon Allen's looked good as QB3.
Who are we looking at here?
So you're going to replace your guy who is basically coming off his rookie year. And I know Brock Purdy's in his second year, but in terms of number of starts, he's just wrapping up his rookie campaign. So you're going to take a guy ending his rookie year and replace him with a rookie. And so you're going to draft a QB at 23 or 25 or wherever you wind up. And so you're not getting Penix.
I know. I love it. Everyone's all
Caleb.
Everyone's all into Penix. Penix is not going to be available.
He could slide, Mark. So in this upcoming draft, there will probably be in the first round maybe 6 quarterbacks or 7 quarterbacks. It's a great draft. But
just the Pac-12 alone is going to fill up the top 10.
Right, but none of those quarterbacks are going to slide into the 20s,
No.
I don't believe. So if you're going to draft a quarterback and hope to start him, you are officially rebuilding. And look at the teams this year who are starting rookie quarterbacks. None of those teams are Super Bowl favorites or even Super Bowl threats. And you can look at C.J. Stroud, who will be Offensive Rookie of the Year, and they're 4-4. And if they make the playoffs, which is a long shot, they're 2 games back at Jacksonville, and they're not getting a wild card out of that division. So unless you somehow get over Jacksonville, you're not a playoff team. And the rest of the rookies, I don't know if you watched last night's game, for example, but
oh my God,
that's a rookie quarterback.
I tried, and then fell asleep.
Yeah.
Then I went in the other room.
Woke up, there's a field goal try.
I'm like, I think I should run some errands. I feel like this is not a productive use of my time. It's sad. It's sad. Well,
they're rookies, and that's what rookies do.
I get, well, not all of them. I can watch C.J. Stroud play football.
Yeah.
I can't watch these 2 teams play football. You just look at them, and it's like, I wonder what the other players are thinking. You know what I mean? It's amazing to watch players put their bodies on the line in the NFL. How do you do it when you know there's no point? Like, what the hell are these 2 teams trying to achieve? The cool thing for the Bears was they could win the game, and their chances of getting the first overall pick went up.
That's crazy.
Because they've got Carolina's pick too.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So that was kind of fun. But outside of that, like if I'm a linebacker on the Panthers, plug the A gap. It's kind of like, why? And I get it. For individual reasons,
right?
You're part of a team. You put good stuff on tape. That's how it works in the NFL. I'm not saying you shouldn't try. I'm just saying I felt for him. Yeah, I feel for these players. Like, this is just a fait accompli.
To your point about the Niners and Brock Purdy, if this is an audition, and let's just say in this hypothetical it is an audition, and let's also say hypothetically that he fails the audition. They go 4-5 the rest of the way. They wind up 9-8, and they miss the playoffs. And you want to move off of Brock Purdy. What does that look like?
Yep.
Is it Kirk Cousins off an Achilles at 35 a year? Is it Sam Darnold? We hope you're not seeing ghosts. Is it draft a QB? Is it package picks and move up? How does that work out for you, Niner fan?
Oh, my God.
When you package first-round picks to move up and maybe you get a first-round rookie, do you trade back with Dallas to get Trey Lance?
Well,
do you bring in Tannehill to join with Shanahan? Because Tannehill won't be in Tennessee anymore. The free agent class of quarterbacks outside of Kirk Cousins is ghastly next year.
And by the way, so is Kirk now, because I don't even know if he's going to be ready to play week 1, to be honest with you.
Well, if Aaron Rodgers can come back and play this year, and I think he can, then
it seems that way.
Right?
Did you hear that thing he said that was mic'd up the other night?
No.
Post-game handshakes after the Jets. Was it Chargers, right? Jets and Chargers. I think he was talking to Derwin James, and it got picked up by microphones. Derwin comes over to him. How you feeling, brother? Good to see you. Hey, when you coming back? Aaron goes, a few weeks. Aaron says he's going to be back in a few weeks. I don't know. Everybody's got a different definition of few. I always feel like it's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
A few means 3 or 4. It's more than a couple, but not much more.
Thank you. Many is 5+. A couple is 2. A few is 3 and 4.
3 or 4. So this guy thinks he's going to be back before Christmas. Okay.
Well, and if you look at the Jets' schedule, and we'll get back to the Niners in a minute, but they're favored by 1 over Vegas this week, and the rest of the way, they're favored in 6 of their last 8 based on look-ahead lines.
That's interesting.
So, I
they're
mean,
at least open to the possibility that Aaron Rodgers is going to play those games.
-1 at Cleveland, -1 at New England, -2.5 at home against Miami. So the Jets are in a spot where if he does get back and get healthy, the Jets are still live in this AFC.
No doubt.
With that defense?
Although the AFC, I have a feeling it's going to the second half of the year. Like, there's so many good teams there. It's really, yes, they'll beat each other up to a degree, but you're not getting in at 9-8. Well,
I was just going to say 11-6 might not be enough.
You've got to be good. You've got to be really good. Like, if you've got the Bengals and Bills freaking out for wild card spots, like, my God. You know what I mean? It's really tough out there. So I don't think they're going to be able to middle their way into this whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's probably, even if he gets back in record time, which it sounds like he will, I don't think it's going to be soon enough because Zach is just brutal.
Yeah.
And if you look at, what are they now? Are they 4-5?
4-4.
4-4.
Yep.
Okay. They are very fortunate to be 4-4. Let's not forget the New York Giants completely missed a bunny field goal, and the Jets got a miracle win out of that. And the Philadelphia Eagles had them pretty much dead to rights and made the interception of the year, in my opinion, thrown by Jalen Hurts, was what helped them win that game. So,
well, Brock Purdy's interceptions up there too, as far as bad interceptions.
You think?
1st and goal at the 8.
Situationally, what Jalen did with the lead.
Yeah. True.
And just running out the clock against the Jets.
In a play where they didn't even need to call a pass play.
Didn't even need to throw the ball. To take any chance at all was wild. Anyway, but
only 5 AFC teams have a losing record. 5 of the 16.
Jeez. That's incredible.
The Patriots, Raiders, Broncos, and Colts and Titans. End of list.
Yeah, and the Colts are what? Only 1 game under, and they play the Patriots
and
this
so
weekend.
are the Raiders, 1 game under.
Yeah, but the Raiders are going to... They look like they're on their way to a losing
they're back,
record.
dog. They're back.
Thanks, dog.
Hey, you're welcome. That was for Spadoni.
All right, I'm glad.
That's going to be a no from me, dog.
Yeah, so
sorry,
back to Brock. Here's Alex Smith. Take a listen to this because we need to have a discussion.
The talk of Brock Purdy being the problem is absolutely nonsense. As bad as he's been in the last 3 weeks, which again, this is a guy that didn't throw an interception the first 5 weeks. Yes, he's thrown 5 in the last 3 weeks. And I know there's some of them been questionable and the concussion. There's been some goofy things. He's still second in the NFL in QBR. And more importantly, when you turn on the tape, this guy routinely makes ridiculous plays in the passing game. Look routine. Exactly that. Like he does it week in and week out. There are multiple pass plays every single week that you look at that are like, man, this guy is a 6-year, 7-year veteran. Like he's playing at that level. And I think sometimes we unfairly compare him to those guys. We unfairly compare him to where Dak Prescott is and Jalen Hurts and some of these guys that he's going to have to play in the NFC. We don't forget, listen, what has he played? 13 games, right? Like his real His real comparisons are Pickett and Ritter and Malik Willis and Matt Corral and Sam Howell. Like, these are the guys that he got drafted with. They were drafted ahead of him, and he is light years ahead of them. He is not the problem. They're going to get Debo back. They're hopefully going to get Trent Williams back. Like, that's going to help. And for me, far more question marks about this defense, but I still think they're going to get figured out. They're too good.
Okay, Sirius XM NFL Radio. That was Alex Smith on Brock Purdy, and I would love everybody's help. How can I say what I want to say without sounding like I'm excusing away some interceptions, some of which were really bad ones? I want to know how to say what I can say.
I'll guide you through it. Just say what you feel.
All right.
And I'll put it through my most like skeptical lens in terms of you being a Brock stan.
So and I accept the label. I have no problem with the label. You want to call me a Brockophile? Rock out with your Brock out. I got no problem.
You're the president of Brockistan, which is near Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan.
Okay,
but go ahead.
All right, we're looking for a VP, so
you won't find it in the morning roast.
Hit me up.
And you, I mean, I'm not in the market.
Find it in this building.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
so.
going to find it in this building.
Larry Krueger.
Oh, that's a good point, but he's not always in the building.
Yeah, that's for
He's
sure.
usually only here when you're not.
And when he is, he's wearing his shirt. Although he wasn't last week, but go ahead. I don't want to derail.
It's because I made fun of him, so he stopped wearing it.
Yeah, it's a shame. I actually have one of his. I'm going to start wearing it.
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Brings it in every time. He's like, I got you a shirt. I'm like, oh.
Cool.
Anyway.
XL.
You got a second-year player, okay? And I know the story of how we got here. I know a lot of people, he was handpicked by Kyle Shanahan. I'd argue he wasn't, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're here. He's the starting quarterback. How is it that we got to a spot where we seem to ignore if we had talked about Brock even preseason? Forget when he got thrown in last year, middle of the year. Preseason, if I had said to you, okay, Brock is now the starter by week 10, granted the Niners might have a couple losses that you don't like, but by week 10, the 49ers will be in first place and you will have the second-rated quarterback in the NFL. Yet, there seems to be a conversation, at least in one corner of the room, still wondering if he's the guy. Help me understand how that conversation's even happening. If second in the NFL as rated quarterbacks, if that's not good enough, then where is the bar? What bar did we set? And who the hell put it there? I didn't.
Right.
Kyle didn't.
No.
Brock didn't. Nobody did. How did the bar end up there? Where it was like, you're not allowed to lose a game. You're not allowed to throw a pick. And if you do, we're going to have a week-long conversation about job status. I like, that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling him perfect.
No.
Everyone acknowledges the last couple fourth quarters and some warts. But if this isn't good enough, how did the bar end up there? That's my question.
Yeah. And I don't think that the bar ended up anywhere beyond where it should be. And I think everything you said right there is fair. And I don't think that you were necessarily spewing propaganda as the president of Brockistan, which is what you are, because what you said to me is 100% factual. And you didn't even invoke the real reality of all of this, which is Kyle Shanahan looks at his numbers, not his QB rating, not his QBR, not his TD to INT ratio, but his salary, and says,
point.
That's his favorite number. And his numbers, Brock Purdy, yes, it ultimately comes down to how he plays, sure. But when it comes down to a tiebreaker, if Brock Purdy was making $35 million a year, we could have a conversation about whether or not he would be the quarterback next year. If Brock was in the last year of a deal, if Brock had Kirk Cousins' contract and he was about to expire and he wasn't hurt like Kirk, but he was playing like Brock is, we could talk about whether or not Brock Purdy is worth $35 million a year, and whether or not you want to give him, 130 guaranteed over the next 4 and whatnot. Brock Purdy's number 2 in the league in QBR, in QB rating, and your team is 5-3 and tied for first in the NFC West. So they are winning. He is playing very well. His fourth quarter quarterback rating is not great, and that's something that he needs to work on.
Of course.
He has some sound, and we'll play it next segment or after Tony Baselli, and we can, talk more about what Brock sees when he looks at himself on film. And he sees what we see. He's made mistakes, big mistakes, but none of this to me equals anything about a quarterback question or a quarterback controversy. If they end this year at 10-7 and they miss the playoffs, or they're one and done, and you come back next year, well, then next year we can have a conversation about the future of the quarterback position. But right now, at 5-3 and a QBR that is number 2 in the league and almost number 1, by the way, he's just a fraction behind Josh Allen.
Yep.
Quarterback rating, he's number 2 and just a point behind Tua Tagovailoa. Brock Purdy's been very good, and Alex Smith is right. He's played great, and anybody we ask, Kurt Warner, anybody short of Dan Orlovsky, who gets paid to hot take it, they all see the same thing. Wow. So to me, it's a non-conversation.
Lot more to say on this, because anybody who thinks Brock has...
And I hate defending you.
No, but I mean...
It's bad for my brand.
Oh, Brock's got something to prove. How is he not?
We all have something to prove.
Well, that's constant.